I'm Jeanette Pincus, and it is Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024, and I get the opportunity to interview Carly Glickman with the Jewish Federation of Dallas, who I had an opportunity to get to go to Israel on the Solidarity Mission. Carly, I want to thank you so much.
Thank you.
For coming in and sharing your experience and thoughts about this. To begin with, can you tell me a little bit about your experience visiting Israel and the last time you were there before this mission?
Sure. This was my 13th trip to Israel. And the last time I was there was in April, last April of 2023, to go to the General Assembly through the Jewish Federation's North America and to celebrate Israel's 75th birthday.
And what is your position?
I'm the Senior Director of Campaign at the Jewish Federation of Greater Dallas.
Okay. And what made you participate in this mission? How did it all start?
On this mission, I didn't participate. On the mission, I spearheaded it. As the professional for the Jewish Federation of Greater Dallas, I conceived the vision of the mission, created the itinerary, planned every detail, did the recruitment, and led the mission on the ground. And for me, it really stands as a pinnacle of my career, being able to affirm that during this pivotal moment in Jewish history, not only did I bear witness, but I was able to bring 50 leaders of our Jewish community to do so as well.
Is there some most meaningful things that you experienced that you want to share?
Sure. So I feel that the most meaningful moment experienced on the mission when we were standing at the site of the Nova Festival, it was really profound when we were listening to the story of the Zaka representative. He stood there with us in front of the images of the young adults who had lost their lives at the Nova Festival, and it was this eerie yet magical moment. Initially, we were a group of 50 people there, and there was other people touring the site, visiting the site, and when they heard this gentleman from Zaka speaking, suddenly our group of 50 became around 80 people. And it just expanded, even the reach of what we were there to hear to even more people. So it just extended, his message extended beyond Dallas now. And then while this was happening, we heard explosions in the distance, and he finished his story, his harrowing accounts, with a song. In that moment, two musicians came out from the crowd and started playing with him, and it just added to the surreal atmosphere. And in that moment, having planned the mission, I brought Zaka to that spot for a reason, but the rest just happened. So there's an expression in Hebrew about being the righteous, and others will come to you, and in the moment, that's really what it felt like. Based
on the mission that we had, what did you want the participants to come back with, or for us to share?
So I was really, and I think this has happened, hope that the stories, a successful mission is really if one person, you come back and one person is impacted. So in this instance, if one person's telling their story, impacted one person to change their views or change their opinions on what happened on October 7th, or to decide to become an advocate for Israel, I think that's successful. So each person coming back changing one person's perception, and then hopefully inspiring others to want to go as well. And then again, that cycle of how many people's perceptions of what happened that day can be changed, and can go there and support Israel. But that would be amazing for me if this would inspire others to go to Israel.
Is there anything else you wanted to add? I almost think you answered it. Is there anything else that you'd like to see happen based on from that mission?
Really just for more people to go and more missions to happen.
Yeah. Okay. You had mentioned that you've visited Israel many times. So it sounds to me very much of a connection, a personal connection. Can you share any of that with us?
Yes. I actually didn't grow up in a Zionist household. I never went to Israel as a child. My parents and my sister have still never been to Israel. And I went for the first time at 25 on a birthright trip. And when I came back, I didn't want the dust to settle. I had fallen in love with Israel. I felt a deep connection to the land and the Israeli people. And suddenly everything about my personality and who I was as a Jewish person made sense and clicked. So I immediately flew back to Israel that summer and spent the summer there. And when I returned, I knew I wanted to get involved in the Jewish community, and found myself starting to volunteer with the Jewish Federation of the city that I was living with. And it was at one of the events that I met my Israeli husband. And so not only now was I going to Israel, but I had Israel with me in the States. And from there, I started to volunteer with Birthright and became a counselor, a madricha, and flying back and forth, bringing young adults to Israel for the first time. And then going with my family. Now I have 2 children who hold Israeli passports, and we go at least once a year as a family. And then with work, I am privileged to be able to bring our Jewish community to Israel as much and as often as possible.
Carly, I personally want to thank you because, as you know, I had been back there for 50 years, and it was so special for my husband and Mike to be part of this mission. It's meant a whole lot to us.
I'm so glad.
So thank you.
I'm so glad.
You experienced.
I think being there at the sites truly shifted my understanding of the massacre. While I had watched videos and heard survivors speak from Dallas, witnessing it firsthand, and what happened that day really just transcended anything humanly possible. And it really cemented for me that there really is an existence of evil and monsters out there.
Thank you so much.